Hi, well, here we are. Uh, we are going to present my final project or final paper about the lesson Scramble for Africa. Okay, so first we're going to frame it in the Spanish law, the LONCE. Okay, so this is the Spanish law. This corresponds to primero de bachillerato, okay, historia contemporánea, and here we can read about the frame of our lesson. We can read about colonial expansion, okay, and colonization and the scramble for Africa, okay, about the causes and consequences of colonialism and imperialism, okay. About criteria is exactly the same. We can read about imperialism, expansionism, and of European expansion of Europeans, okay, in the 19th century, and the consequences of this expansion. And here it's important that we are invited to learn about a map, about the colonial map, and about the different empires, colonial empires, okay. And we are invited to learn about identify and explain the causes and consequences of the colonial expansion in the 19th century. So, so this is the Spanish law. This is the legal frame, okay, and in that sense, we can talk about content objectives that we have read, being able to recognize an African colonial map and the different colonial areas, being able to describe the scramble for Africa and Berlin Conference, okay, um, explaining the causes of imperialism, the consequences of imperialism and colonialism, okay, about linguistics objectives, as we will see in a minute. We will try to recognize the adjectives like Egyptian, Dutch, German, and recognize the vocabulary related to raw materials or groups of peoples or boundaries, okay, and use the past simple structure, okay. Well, and about the key competencies, obviously competencies in linguistic communication, digital competence, of course, because we are use the digital tools, okay. Learning to learn, social and civics competencies are very important in this lesson because um, we will talk about some atrocities that the history, uh, the African and European history is sometimes is a little bit complicated. Okay, um, and of course about cultural awareness and expression. In that way, we will try to explain something a little bit about the Spanish heritage in Africa and about Equatorial Guinea. Okay, that is the only country whose official language is the Spanish. Well, all of these are about the law. Um, it's very important for me this PowerPoint. That is the PowerPoint that I will use to present the lesson in the classroom. Okay. We can see just sizing. Well, this is about causes. Okay. Um, and what is very important for me take into account these drawings, because these drawings, um, we will see it, we will watch it in one of the videos, and now we are using it because I think that is a good idea to to remember, okay, to remember the different aspect of the colonialism and imperialism lesson. So it's a way to help my student to remember it. Okay, this image are we will see it, we will watch it in another video, in the first one. Okay, well, but we have not no enough time. So okay, about linguistics tags, we will start with the first activity, and in this activity they will try to classify these words. Okay, there is an example that it's easy to them to recognize, and they must to fill the gaps. Okay, call, kingdom, front lines, descendants, diamonds. Well, and I would like to them to learn these adjectives like British, Dutch, Italian, something similar, because these are words that we will use during the lesson. And sorry. After that, there is something more about vocabulary. They will match the words and their definitions. Okay, and it's an activity about past simple structures. Okay, because we will need it to understand the lesson. After that, they are invited. The students are invited to read this material. This is a real material of internet. Um, uh, the content uh, is very. I think it's very useful to understand all the lesson, and to prepare them to watch the next video. Okay, the next video is a video that is in a very easy English. I think it's very easy to understand. Okay, but anyway, they will have a helping guide. Okay, a helping guide. Sorry, that essentially is a transcription of the video. The video is very easy to understand. We can listen for a moment. Well, I hope that you can uh, listen, but anyway, it's a very easy English, I think, and they will have the helping guide. So I think that they have a good and enough supporting to understand it. Okay. Um, After that, and remember that is or in that we during this we are explaining the lesson. Okay. There is another video that uh, is a very little video that is made by a girl. Okay, that draw on the blackboard, and that's drawings. We use that drawings in our presentation, and I hope that helps the student to understand the relationship between the different ideas. Okay, this is and what is interesting is of this video is that there is something wrong in the last minutes. Okay, So I use it for attacks like um, true false attacks. Okay, so they are invited to discover what is wrong. Okay, this is the activity. Is there is something wrong in this African map? Sorry. Well, essentially, basically, is wrong about that she didn't. Mm, I think that is was the German colonies, what or the German and the Italian colonies that she forgot to draw. Okay, so the idea is that watching the video and doing these tags and the other tags that is attached to the video. After that, the students will be able to draw an African colonial map. This is the idea. Okay. Here they need to fill the names of the nations. Okay. For instance, the 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 red is Germany and the orange is France. Okay. Well, in this point, I suppose that the student is able to explain the uh, the causes and the consequences of colonialism and is able to draw an African colonial map. So it's able to afford the number 7 activity that basically is a talking and writing activity in which they will discuss in work group about the questions about these questions. What was the scramble for Africa? Why did the Berlin Conference occur? What European nation gained control of Africa? And the positive and negative effects of imperialism in Africa. Okay, they must to discuss in work groups. Okay, and then write their own answer and their personal statements and conclusion. Okay, this um, this activity helps them to prepare the exam. Okay, because basically uh, in the exam they will respond uh, basically the same questions. Okay, and they are invited to recognize the different nations in a map of in a colonial map of Africa. Okay, and finally, I will try to know their opinion about the videos because I'm interested in know something about that and about the PowerPoint that supports the lessons. Okay, and the exams is the 50% of the evaluation. Here we have the evaluation grid. Well, the time. I'm afraid that the time has gone. So well, that is the idea. That is my presentation, and well, that's all. I hope you that you like it. So thank you very much. Bye.